Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.
Good evening and welcome to Altos, a weekly news and current affairs show produced by the Catholic News and broadcast on Trinity TV and TTT. I'm Raymond Sims. Our top stories this week. Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon tells Catholic content creators and digital communicators to have a clear purpose and mission before posting content. As the world celebrates World Steel Pan Day, we tell you how one Roman Catholic church has been incorporating the national instrument in building faith. Meet 4 young ladies who want to make a difference in building a family life, and they are walking the talk. There's something exciting happening later this month at Mount St. Benedict. If you are a car enthusiast, you will want to stay tuned. And later we speak to Bishop Robert Lianos about the AEC's pastoral letter on sexual and gender identity. Now to our top story. Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon has provided content providers of the Catholic Voices for the Digital Mission with a template before they send out content. Addressing Catholic content creators, digital communicators, and media practitioners at Archbishop's house on Wednesday evening, His Grace advised them to first determine their purpose and mission before posting anything. As Andre Burton tells us, the Archdiocese of Port of Spain also used the occasion to reaffirm its commitment to Catholic Voices for the Digital Mission.
Right? Take a selfie, put it on your stories. I'll give you 5 minutes. Somebody you've never met before.
The Archdiocese continues to invest in Catholic Voices for the Digital Mission. Through CAMCEL and the Office of Youth Ministry, the gathering recognized the Catholic digital creators as part of the Church's mission.
You are seen, you are valuable, you are wanted. We are investing in you because you're not on the fringe, you're not on the peripheral, you are the epicenter of mission.
Participants are being encouraged to see their online presence as part of the Church's digital mission.
You have to ask yourself before you post, what's my purpose? And even before you decide that you want to post, what's my mission? What's my purpose? Because if you have a clear purpose, it drives the content that you actually will deliver.
The conversations also presented participants with an opportunity to reflect on their digital witness. For Zachary Gonzalez, it reinforced the difference his online presence can make.
So what stood out to me was the seriousness and the value that content creation has. Like, it could really impact somebody's life. You know, I think it's easy to just get caught up in, it's just a video on Instagram, but, you know, it could really spark something in somebody to draw them closer to Christ.
CAMCEL and the Office of Youth Ministry will provide ongoing mentorship, resource sharing, and opportunities for collaboration as the Archdiocese continues to invest in Catholic Voices for the Digital Mission. I am Andre Burton for Catholic News, Altos.
There has been a good response to the public appeal for assistance to Archbishop Emeritus Robert Rivas as efforts continue to raise the required $400,000 plus for his medical care at the West Shore Private Hospital. The former Archbishop of Castries has been facing significant health challenges, resulting in a prolonged stay at the medical institution. Lara Pickford-Gordon gives us this update.
Archbishop Emeritus Robert Rivas has undergone tests and treatment while hospitalized at West Shore Private Hospital. And while initially his medical insurance covered 80% of cost, it has since dropped to 40%. His medical bills are estimated at over $400,000 for 6 weeks at the private hospital. On July 28, the St. Finbar's Dominican community in Diego Martin launched an appeal for financial assistance. Parish priest at St. Finbar's, Father Urban Hudlin, told Altos he is pleased with the response thus far.
The response has been better than we expected, so we are all very pleased. I suppose people are recognizing the valuable contribution that clergy, and particularly our senior clerics, have made.
In addition to financial assistance, there has also been an appeal for blood for Archbishop Rivas. Father Hudlin explained that the appeal for blood donations is because his white blood cells were not within normal range as his body was fighting infection. His condition has since improved.
He's doing very well, and we are really appreciative of all those who have reached out and really supported the cause by making their monetary contributions. Please continue to do that. He will be in the hospital for another 2 weeks.
Father Hudlin said when Archbishop Rivas is discharged from hospital, he will need specialized care because he cannot walk on his own. He will go to Promise House for further care and physiotherapy. You can continue making your financial contributions for his medical care using the name Robert Rivas. I am Lara Pickford Gordon reporting for Catholic News Altos.
On Tuesday, August 11th, the national instrument was celebrated locally and internationally on World Steel Pan Day. One parish has long recognized the unifying power of the steel pan and how it can be used to represent faith. The St. Dominic's RC Church in Morva has the distinction in the Archdiocese of having the steel pan incorporated into its design. Lara Pickford Gordon tells us how this came about.
Steel pans hold pride of place at St. Dominic's RC. Thora Best, a parishioner at St. Dominic's, recalled that a copper mural created by Ken Morris came about after Fathers Christian Pereira and Clyde Harvey created the Laventil Morva pastoral area, bringing together 4 Morva and Laventil communities. The Catholic News reported that this happened in 1981.
They had Ken Morris designed a chalice in copper, because remember the theme of the Laventil Morva pastoral area was many communities coming together as one and a Catholic community.
Best said parishioners were very enthusiastic about the design and it is now part of the people. She said when Father Dwight Merrick came to the church, renovations were done and other pan images were introduced.
He used the pan as the ambo, and the altar is really 2 shallow pans that support the altar.
Monsignor Christian Pereira told Altos Ken Morris was commissioned to do a mural for the church. He and Father Harvey discussed the idea with him, and a steel pan symbol was chosen, with a chalice at the center.
They relate with each other because the music of a people and the pouring out of Jesus' life or blood for us harmonize in a very important way. Incidentally, Ken Morris considers that work in Morva Church to be one of his best.
Monsignor Pereira explained the symbolism of the rays radiating around the steel pan.
The harmony between the steel pan and the heart of the church, the Eucharist, brings life and blessings to the wider society.
Monsignor Pereira was presented with a miniature version of the mural when he was leaving the parish. He said he still cherishes it to this day. This is Lara Pickford Gordon for the Catholic News, Altos.
And Trinbago's ancestral walk for World Steel Pan Day on Tuesday, August 11th, honored the legacy of the past while showcasing the future of steel pan with youth steel orchestras. The Steel Pan organization collaborated with the Ministry of Culture and Community Development for World Pan Day celebrations under the theme Rhythm and Rise, Youth, Discipline, Culture, Community. Lara Pickford Gordon shares some highlights from the event.
The program for the ancestral walk began at the Duke Street Pan Yard of Master Trinidad All-Stars, where history was enacted with performances of African drumming and tambo bamboo, cultural expressions that were banned by colonial rulers, which paved the way for the creation of the steel pan. Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore, flanked by members of the executive, said the day paid homage to Pan ancestors. This year celebrated the youth and the passing on of legacy.
born out of resistance, born out of struggle. Today, the steel pan is on a world stage, our gift to the world. And so we continue to build out the movement. We continue to evolve. We continue to build out the industry of the steel pan.
Ramsey Moore is pleased that from all accounts, the steel pan and steel band movement are in very good hands. The ancestral walk left the Massey Panyard in procession to the Renegades Panyard on Charlotte Street, with pan lovers chipping to the songs of the Defense Force Steel Orchestra. More youth performances took place at Renegades. The program culminated with a concert at the Queen's Park, Savannah. This is Lara Pickford-Gordon for the Catholic News, Altos.
Nice. 4 primary school students are showing that big ideas can come from young minds. The latest community project is aimed at bringing families together. Andre Burton reports.
Yeah, and then race could finish there. And then people could...
A school business project encouraged 4 young girls dubbed the Dynamic 4 to turn their ideas into community events. With support from their parents, they are now preparing for their 3rd event.
We had a barbecue, and then we had an Easter egg hunt. Then we was thinking what to do next. We wanted to include adults and children, and that's exactly what we thought of.
The reason behind this event was about more than organizing a tree.
Because we see a lot of parents are not bonding with a lot of the children, and we wanted to make it outdoors so people could get away from their screens.
The idea belonged to the girls, and their parents helped bring it to life.
So both daddies and mummies, the 8 of us, we came together and we just, hey, they want to do this, let's help them. Sometimes we need to take the village and just make sure whatever their dream, their vision, their aspiration is, come to life.
Months of planning have led to this moment.
The biggest part of putting this all together, it all started with a big idea in our head, and making it into reality makes it feel incredible.
Now the Dynamic 4 have a message for families across Trinidad and Tobago.
We are inviting you and your family to come out and join us in our Tricky Run. It's happening Saturday, August 22nd at Jackson Square, Port of Spain. Come run or walk together, finish together, and stay for an afternoon filled with family fun. So bring the whole family, come out and have some fun. See you there!
I'm Andre Burton for Catholic News, Altos.
And if you don't go to that 3K, what happens when a car pulls into a monastery? That's the idea behind Cars and Christ Trinidad, an unusual gathering that will bring car enthusiasts and their vehicles to Mount St. Benedict with faith at the heart of the event. It takes place August 22nd as well. Altos reporter Kaylan Jordan has more.
Where the car community and the Christian community combine.
For Christian Mirage, the idea of Cars Meet Christ grew out of his years in Trinidad's car culture and a desire to bring a more positive influence to the community.
What we tend to experience or see is a lot of negativity within the car community. I was just scrolling a day on social media and I saw this type of event happens in America. My religion is Christianity. So I thought that there would be a very positive impact on the car community.
The result is Cars and Christ Trinidad, a faith-based automotive event attracting classic, custom, and performance vehicles. And for Mirage, Mount St. Benedict was the obvious place to start.
People get their first car, they carry it to Mount St. Benedict and get it blessed. And I always found that very interesting. I had told myself, basically, if Mount St. Benedict had said no, I was not going to continue doing the event at all.
But the idea is not simply to put cars on display. But John Pereira said the event is intended to, quote, allow the car enthusiasts to broaden their vision of life in terms of referencing the spiritual, end quote. The monastic community agreed to host the event, provided it does not disrupt the prayerful and reflected atmosphere for which the mount is known. And while the cars may be the attraction, Mirage assures the event is not about making money.
It's non-profit. If I were to get any money, it will be directly donated to the church.
I am Kaylan Jordan reporting for Catholic News, Altos.
That sounds like an interesting one to attend. We're going to a break now, and when we return, we interview Bishop Robert Llanos. And welcome back to Altos. You are watching Altos, and we have on set with us Bishop Robert Llanos. He's a Trinidadian, but he's based in St. John's, Basseterre. Welcome to the set, Bishop Robert.
Thank you.
You all right?
I'm good.
All right, so the Antilles Episcopal Conference of Bishops, they issued a pastoral letter dealing with sexual and gender identity. Yeah. And it was issued on the feast of St. Joachim and Anne.
Yep.
Tell me something. How did that come about? How did that come about?
How did the document come about?
Yeah, how did the document come about?
Well, of course, the Family and Life Commission of the AEC Conference of Bishops, we are always on our toes, so to speak, to see what kind of issues are happening in the world, what's going on in the world around us, and how we may fulfill our responsibility to be shepherds of the Catholic family and the children of God. So as shepherds, we have to look out to see where dangers lie, that kind of thing, what's happening in the world, what are the current trends, and what families are facing in terms of raising their children well and being a good Christian family. So recognizing the problems that were arising all over the world regarding sexual identity and gender identity, we determined that we needed as the bishops of the AEC, to prepare a document and to put it out there for all families in the Caribbean to have some resource, some confident resource to draw on when dealing with these issues in their families and as they arise, also in our schools and in our various institutions, parishes, institutions that have to do with raising young children, youths, young adults. All the pastoral work that the church does as regards these particular areas of family life.
But this is a first-time type of document dealing with this issue, correct?
Yes, this is the first document dealing with sexual identity and gender identity because, well, as many people already know, it's a very prominent issue now.
Yes, it is.
And we see a threat to the dignity of the human person.
All right.
And we feel a responsibility to clarify the areas of confusion and misidentification and misunderstandings, which abound in a world of social media. They have thousands of sources of information, which in fact are erroneous information, incorrect, incomplete, deceiving people and so on. So we wanted to put something out there that the Catholic or Christian person can depend on for its content as being authentic and led, by good theological understanding, good scientific research, good Christian anthropology, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
All right. So, what is the hope of this document? I know it's out there if anybody is interested in reading the entire document, they could get it on the AC Bishop's website. But what happens next? What after it's released, and how do we get it down into the parishes?
Well, so we have obviously sent this document to all the bishops with the instructions or recommendations rather of how they may utilize it in their diocese, to let it filter down to the people who need it most. So we specify in the document, as a matter of fact, that this document is for teachers, parents, lawmakers, policymakers, people who deal with institutions where they have young people under their care, and who come face to face with these issues from time to time. So the idea is, of course, that the diocese will, using their own media platforms, will now disseminate this document to everywhere that they can, and insist actually on it, that it becomes a point of discussion, for instance, among principals and schools, and the hierarchy of the church, and the priests, and all those the catechists.
And mainly a lot of parents, because parents deal with this.
Yeah, I know. But what we imagine, once it reaches the catechists, and the principals in the schools, and the teachers in the schools, and the schools, children themselves are going through the document, that then the parents will be roped in. The parents are going to come in. They're going to come
have to come in
and want to know what do we do. So the document itself, the chapter 4 in the document, the last part, and the appendix provides various pastoral guidelines and directives. In general directives of how people ought to respond, and how policymakers and leaders are supposed to utilize the document. And then in the last part of the document, there are actual questions and answer things. So where a parent is asking a question to a catechist or a teacher, and how the teacher ought to respond. So we have very clear guidelines of what can be done with it.
All right, good. Bishop, thanks very much for coming in with us, coming to talk to us a little bit about the pastoral letter. And of course, whenever you come back to Trinidad again, we'll invite you on. Right?
Praise God.
Thanks, Bishop.
Thank you. Blessings.
So we've been chatting with Bishop Robert Llanos, Bishop of St. John's Bastille, and we'll be right back. In your Catholic News for August 16th, Vicar for Communications, Father Robert Christo, answers important questions on confession in the Center Spread. 3 recently held international observances are all connected, writes Father Stephen Alexander. Read what they are in the Catholic Commission for Social Justice column. And the Family Life Commission page reports on the Joyful Marriage Program, a 12-week program which prepares couples for marriage. Here are the clergy anniversaries for the coming week. And the coming events. I'm Raymond Sims, editor of the Catholic News. And remember to pick up a copy of your Catholic News this weekend. The Pro-Cathedral of Our Lady of Perpetual Help in San Fernando had a triple celebration on Thursday, August 6th. It was the Feast of the Transfiguration of Our Lord, the 17th anniversary of Father Jason Grell's ordination, and a farewell Mass for Father Jason as he prepares for a new chapter in his priestly ministry. Clysha Bess has more.
The Feast of the Transfiguration was the backdrop for a Mass of gratitude and farewell. Father David Kahn, who delivered the homily, urged Father Jason Grell, who will be furthering his academic studies, to embrace the journey ahead using the gospel tale of Peter, James, and John, who were given a glimpse into Jesus' divine glory on Mount Tabor. He said they may have wanted to stay where it was comfortable, but they had to come down the mountain for the mission to continue.
Father Jason, you have to leave Mount Tabor. You have to leave the Southern Vicariate. You have to come down the mountain because God has greater plans for you.
Vicar General Monsignor Martin Sergiu offered words of thanks on behalf of Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon.
I thank you sincerely for that evangelization that you have performed, that you have given here, always with energy, always with praise and worship, converting minds and hearts.
Vicar for the Southern Vicariate, Father Matthew Duroux, offered brotherly advice, encouraging Father Jason to embrace his upcoming studies in mediation as a time of purification and preparation.
I believe there's a dimension to higher studies that purifies us as people if we allow so. And so may you go through a period of purification in your life.
Father Jason thanked his brother priests, the deacons, the altar servers, and the young people of the parish. He noted that priestly ministry is not a transaction nor a career, but a living parable and a vocation where authentic relationships are nurtured.
The priestly mission, therefore, is not ours, but God's. For me, 17 years of priestly ministry is a privilege. It's a special grace. It's an honor to share in the ministry of Jesus.
And in some international news, Pope Leo has been praying for the victims of the deadly 7.4 earthquake which struck Colombia on August 10th, leaving more than 200 people dead. The Holy Father expressed solidarity with affected families and gratitude to rescue workers. We have more in this report.
Following the 7.4 magnitude earthquake that struck parts of Colombia, rescue teams continue to look for survivors and assess the damage as the death toll rises. From the beginning, the Church has stood with those affected, with the Vatican also stepping in to help. Pope Leo XIV has offered his solidarity to the Colombian people following the earthquake. In a telegram sent to the President of the Colombian Bishops' Conference, the Pope thanked those involved in the rescue efforts. Pope Leo offers his prayers to the victims and for the recovery of the injured. He also extends his condolences to the families who have lost loved ones. He assures them of his spiritual closeness and expresses his gratitude to all those generously involved in the search, rescue and relief efforts to help those affected. The Pope also entrusts the Colombian people to the protection of the Virgin Mary, praying that everyone may receive the gifts of spiritual strength and Christian hope. The gesture is reminiscent of the one he made just weeks ago, following the earthquake in Venezuela, where Pope Leo XIV sent €100,000 in emergency aid. Now, in the wake of the tragedy in Colombia, the Pope once again highlights the Church's closeness to those who are suffering and its recognition of those working to save lives.
And that's a wrap on our show for this week. Thank you very much for viewing. Remember to continue praying for Trinidad and Tobago, read your Bible, and learn your faith. World Steel Pan Day was celebrated on Tuesday, August 11th. As we go, we leave you with images of the pan's reach across the globe. Just a gentle reminder that the steel pan is the only major musical instrument invented in the 20th century. The video features volunteers who participated in a Learn to Play pan course led by panman Dexter Marchand at the London High Commission and pan at Times Square in New York. Enjoy. Have a blessed and safe week, everyone. Heavenly.
Altos was brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.